So today we're here with Keith's 2005 RS. This is a car that we've done a lot of work on over the last couple years. Right now it has one of our long rod 2.4 liters. It has a Bushmaster ported head. It has S3s from GSC, the Magnus V5, and now it has an ETS 3586 turbo kit. This one's a little bit different than what we've done in the past. This has the tile housing on it versus a standard 82 AR T3. It really seems as though we're getting a little bit better flow out of the tile and better spool as well. The car baselined at 698 horse. Once I got the tune dialed in a little bit, we were at 716, 540 torque at 29 pounds, which I'm happy to say ties my car and beats me in the torque department. So people understand that we don't just build fast cars for ourselves. Our customers need fast cars, and that's very important to us. We also have spooling up coil on plug, Mitsubishi radiator, 4-inch pipe with a nice big filter so this thing breathes very well, as well as various cosmetic stuff. I believe we have a 4-inch intercooler on there. Made very, very good power. The FIC 1450s and the Busher double pumper were good for 762 horsepower before we really had run out of fuel. So we had to stop at 32 pounds, but it really shows how much this picks up with boost. And I'm very happy to say that beats my car. So Keith has a rocket in his hands now, so hopefully he can get some really good drag times, have a lot of fun with this build. So Keith has S3s in this build. He originally had some smaller cams. I believe it had S2s before. What we've found with the 2.4s, and especially when you have a ported cylinder head, is the S3s are really good for bigger motors. It needs to be able to breathe to make the power. S2s on a big motor really emphasize low-end torque, which would be good on a smaller turbo. But in a drag race setup that we have here, the S3s allow for higher revving and making power higher up. Right now it makes peak power about 7,700 RPM. The S3s are really helping. It really seems that it didn't affect spool at all, what we would normally see on a non-Maybach car going from an S2 to an S3. S2s by themselves usually will keep the power level similar, but the RPM range down. So while this might have focused on 4,800 to 7,600. Now we really have 4,800 to 85 or 8,600. The S3s with the larger lift also take advantage of the cylinder head work, where before the S2s, they only have 11.2 millimeters of lift, which is where a stock head stops flowing. So now that we have 11.7, it really is going to breathe deeper and take advantage of the Bushmaster cylinder head on this car. Recent trend that we've seen is we've been doing a lot of long rod 2.4 liters. So what that is 156 millimeter rods with custom Wiseco pistons on a stock 100 millimeter stroke. So the big question is, why a long rod? Why not a standard rod 2.4? Does one make more power? What are the advantages? What we found with the long rod 2.4 is that it really allows the motor to safely rev higher. While that can be a subject of debate, it seems that with the reduction in side loading on the piston, the motor is happier for a lot longer period of time. Where we feel that a standard rod motor is good up to probably 84 or 8,500 RPM, the long rod realistically should be good to about 9,200, which you could do with a standard rod. It's just you're going to definitely decrease the amount of lifespan of the motor revving at that high continuously. The other advantage that I feel is that the long rod, even though it's just a small change, definitely has less vibration, which when you're on the street, having a motor that buzzes, it feels like it has a balance shaft out of phase and puts your foot to sleep is not what you want, especially on a long trip. As far as power production though, I can personally tell you that I have tested both. There is no difference between a long rod and a standard rod. If everything else is equal, they make the same power. So the main advantage to the long rod 2.4 is the increased rev capacity, which as we've been talking about, this motor makes its power really high. It's a good drag race setup, so we really want to make sure that it's safe at 7,700 plus RPM. And then when Keith dailies it, he's not going to have a numb foot because of the extra vibration. So the last thing we're going to talk about today is the 3586. It's no secret that I love that turbo. So the question that comes up is, why do a 3586 over something like a 3794 or the precision offerings that are big? One thing that we've found is that the 3586 honestly makes almost as much power at the same boost level as the 3794. In some cases it seems like it makes better power per pound. The larger turbos really need a lot of boost to make good power, where longevity wise and ease on the motor, running 30 to 36 pounds on the street, you can make 720 to 800 wheel, versus the 3794, for instance, on my car, where I had to run 39 pounds to really eclipse what the 3586 did. As far as class racing, that might not really be a consideration. The 67 mil turbos like the 37 and the 6765 will fit into all of that. But the 3586 from Force Performance is a 62 mil inducer, so it will fit any class forever. One other nice advantage is they do spool a little bit faster than the 37, especially on a car that has no MIVEC. You're going to notice a big difference with the 3586 versus the 37. My car has a lot of custom stuff to make that 37 spool the same, but unless you do that or have an Evo 9, the 86 is definitely going to be a faster spooling turbo. This particular one has the tile housing, which has always been kind of in the air. We don't really do a lot of testing with the T3 style tiles. We've done it with the larger T4 stuff on our drag cars, but I'm happy to say that not only is it lighter, it looks better because it's stainless. It really seems that it makes more power and spools faster, as well as being V-band. So I know this isn't a good selling point, but it looks cooler. It seems that it's helping that combo work a lot better, which, as most people know, combo is everything. Do one thing wrong in that combination and it's going to hurt you. In this case, this really helps. So I'm very impressed with the tile at this point. I guess the final word on this car is that if you want a 760 wheel daily, this is all it takes. It's pretty cookie cutter. It needs a Magnus, it needs a ETS turbo kit with a 3586, it needs a big intercooler. E85 is definitely the drug of choice, and GSC cams. I can't say enough about how it takes all of that to make the power, but this car on the highway should still get 19 miles to the gallon, and as soon as you floor it, be 760 wheel, 575 foot-pounds of pure smile.